and welcome to Hatching for Health, the Jessica Hatch Show. Tonight we have a guest who is a registered dietitian who also has a master's in community health education. Her name is Chardell Buchanan. Welcome to the show, Chardell.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I am very excited. We've been kind of following you and seeing all the great things that you're doing. And we're like, let's have her on, and so we can learn more. So tell us. So you're a registered dietitian. Did that come after your master's degree?
It came before, actually. Dietetics is a bachelor's degree that you can get from college, and then I did the master's after that just to kind of supplement what I was already learning.
Okay, very good. So as a registered dietitian, tell us exactly what that is, because I know a lot of people will claim to be nutritionist or even dietitians, but a registered dietitian is very specific and it requires, the qualifications that you have. So tell us what that looks like.
So to be a registered dietitian, there's actually quite a few steps that you need to go through, both academic and professionally, in order to be registered. We are basically food and nutrition experts. That's what we are. The first thing you do is you do a 4-year bachelor degree in dietetics. From there, you do an internship, and they vary in length. I personally did one that was a year long in New York City, and I loved it, where you get to go through different rotations, learn all about different areas of dietetics. After that's completed, then you take a national exam, which you're required to pass, and then you're registered. And from there, you just have to do continuing education credits in order to stay registered, to keep current with all the trends and things that are going on.
Okay, and are those classes done every year to keep your registration?
Yes, and the wonderful part about that continuing ed is that you can do them in any area that is your specialty. So personally, I've been taking classes lately in the area of autism and autism spectrum disorder because of my son. So I've been working on that in my personal continuing education.
Very good. And that's what kind of gained our interest from Hatching for Health's perspective, was the fact that you're not only, a registered dietitian, but that your focus is more, on children with disabilities and conditions, which, I think naturally they have a lot more restrictions and dietary changes they have to make, just to kind of obviously complement like what it is that they're going through. So that's basically the reason you decided to go that route, was because your son has, and it's something we're going to touch on in the second half, but Phelan-McDermid syndrome, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that's kind of the passion behind going that route with your dietitian degree, is that right?
That is right. With dietetics for me actually started when I was in high school. I was injured, and I just didn't really know a lot about nutrition at the time. Mm-hmm. And when I was injured, I came out of surgery, and the doctor said to me, hey, you need to make sure that you're eating really well to help this surgery heal well, and so that you can get back to how you were before. And it kind of blew my mind that nutrition could play a role in my healing. It was so intriguing to me. So that was when I really got interested in food and dietetics, and I started studying it, or decided that's what I wanted to do my degree in, was back when I was back in high school. And then going through the dietetics program in undergrad, I just loved it. I loved everything about it. And so initially when I got out of school, my specialty was not in special needs. I dealt with many populations, but not the special needs population. That, like you said, that came after my son was diagnosed, and I realized that there really was a need to help parents of special needs child.
Okay, that's an interesting journey how you got there. So tell us, so special needs children, so at this point is predominantly your focus. With parents, obviously a lot of these children, aren't the ones picking the food all the time. It's the parents. So it must be a real team effort in meeting with them and helping them understand, what is going to be, right for their child. So kind of walk us through how that works with these children of various ages.
Right. And to be honest, what I work with mostly is the parents. A lot of the kids have such specific diets and dietary needs that there are dietitians out there that help them specifically with that. What I do is work more with the parents in taking care of their own health. I do when I work with clients, we take into consideration the needs of their child, and often ask if they're already working with a dietitian specifically for their child. And if they're not, I can offer some suggestions. But on the parents, because as parents, we forget to take care of ourselves. We're so concerned with taking care of our special needs child, making sure that all of their needs are met, that we kind of put our own health on the back burner. And that can be detrimental, not only for ourselves, but for our child who we are actually trying to help.
Exactly. So it sounds like you do a little extra and touch on what the parent should be eating, and and kind of keeping them balanced as well.
Yes.
So are you working with like organizations like, I say organizations like hospitals, or how exactly do you get connected with the families?
Most families, a lot of it is by word of mouth. Most families that I work with either hear from me from my Instagram account or someone else that I've worked with in the past, or people just know that I'm a dietitian and that I have been. So that's usually how I get in touch with people, and then they'll tell me their issues, and I offer solutions to making healthy eating easy for the entire family. A lot of times parents who are special needs or have a child with special needs feel that they have to make more than one meal, or feel that they don't have time for themselves and they can't sit down and eat a meal that is healthy because they spend so much time taking care of their child that the only time that they eat or take care of themselves is when they have a minute, which really doesn't come that often. As a special needs parent, you understand that there's constantly things you have to be doing for your child. So there really isn't time to say, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to eat a healthy meal, and I'm going to do this for me. So I help them find ways to make healthy eating easy and quick and very effective.
Okay. And I guess kind of tell us some of the like common things that they're, wanting to put into their, their routine of eating. Like, is there, obviously everybody's very different, but do you have like a strong focus with, fruits and vegetables or carbohydrates? Like the keto, there's so many different ways and directions people are, are given out there. Some of it's just related to, losing weight, but a lot of it is just like eating the proper diet. The word diet doesn't always mean like, it's because you're trying to lose weight, of course, especially with these children. It's more of just like keeping their brains healthy. So can you kind of tell us like maybe even with you and your son and family, like, kind of some of the pointers that you have for yourself?
Certainly. I think for any special needs parent, the major problem comes in, like I said, that they just don't feel like they have the time to take care of themselves. We're so focused on taking care of our child. Me personally, with Benjamin, I remember when he was young and we spent so much time in doctor's offices, in therapy appointments, going to specialists. I was constantly taking care of his needs. And I mean, medically, there's just a lot that a special needs child requires of a parent. So myself, I felt like I was rushing all the time and I couldn't take care of myself. I was living on Coke and leftover French fries, like whatever my kids weren't eating. And that really isn't a good place to be as a parent. Over time, those choices lead up to detrimental effects, and you can really do some damage, and then you can't be there for your child. So when my clients come to me and they say, I need help, I don't feel good, I don't have energy, 4 o'clock rolls around and I think, I don't know what I'm having for dinner. So we go through the drive-through again, and then I feel guilty about that. They want to eat healthy, but they just don't know how. It's so overwhelming with everything else they're dealing with. Knowing how to make healthy eating a priority and something that's easy is difficult. So because I've been through that journey myself, I can easily navigate it for them and give them the tools that are quick and easy they can implement right away and see good results.
Yeah, I bet you've probably got it down, like, obviously to a science in every way. I'll have to even gather some tips from you myself, because it's so true. I mean, I'm not a parent yet, well, at least not of human beings, of dogs, but like even just finding time, and you just go, and especially if like yourself, you're running your own business, and if you don't like make that time, to properly plan your eating, it gets away from you very easily, and then you feel bad about it, and it's not the best direction to go. So
right, and parents, they tell me I'm taking care of my child, my special needs child. Oh, they get organic everything, and I make sure they're eating whole grains, and they're taken so, like, their health is just top priority to me. And I say, okay, well, what about you? Oh, I just eat whenever I have a minute. Whatever's around, I just shove it in. I don't even know what I eat anymore. No, and I think you're important too. Parents are important. We need to take care of the parents.
Yeah, 100%. It's for the life of both of them. There's so much importance in that, and I mean 100% see how they get left behind. Which is if they just are on top of it from the beginning, and understanding the importance of both of them, it would change that altogether. We're going to be taking a break shortly, and when we come back, I do want to talk in detail about the Phelan-McDermid syndrome. But before we do so, I guess with your clientele during this, these kind of crazy times, probably doesn't affect you as much because a lot of what you can do is probably online with, emailing, different recipes or different ways of implementing things. So has COVID, I guess, kind of factored in at all in a negative way, or has that changed your practice, what you're doing?
Not really. It's actually been very helpful because everyone is used to Zoom calls now.
Yeah.
Everyone has in. And it's very easy and effective to quickly jump on a call with me. I keep it very short because I understand parents need to be with their children and supervise them. So we do quick calls. They're really easy to do. And having it all online has only made it easier for me to reach more people because of the ease of not having to be in person. So it's actually been really great.
Yeah, what was once foreign to so many about jumping on a Zoom call is now what everyone does. It's like texting. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So very good. Well, we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to talk more in regards to these special needs children and even her son in particular having the Phelan-McDermid syndrome. So we'll be right back after these commercials. Imagine hearing the news as a parent that your child has been diagnosed with a condition that is degenerative or life-threatening. Now imagine being told that there's little to no research for the condition that even exists, making it difficult to try and figure out what to do next. The reality is that for so many rare conditions, finding specialists who understand the condition and being able to make informed treatment decisions for their child is very challenging. Each episode, I will help with my network of physicians and medical resources across the U.S. to attempt to connect the dots by bringing widespread recognition of rare conditions and connecting families to the best treatment, clinical experts, resources, and support. I'm going to highlight these hard-to-diagnose diseases and offer in-depth awareness for families of children in the rare disease community. I believe we are all in charge of our own healthcare, and pushing for answers and creating awareness for these various rare health conditions can make the world around us a better place. Not only am I a huge advocate who seeks to spearhead the fight to bring rare conditions to the forefront of research, but I personally had my own rare condition. In this rare condition, I was able to be cured of due to early detection. My passion to help others was fueled by that experience, and it has led me to start the Hatching for Health show. Now, this show is a vehicle for us to create awareness to help these children find cures. Hi, I'm Jessica Hatch, the host of Hatching for Health. We are a show that was brought about to create awareness for children with rare diseases, disabilities, and disorders with hopes of finding cures. We are looking for doctors that would like to participate in being on our episodes and possibly even bring their own patients on the show to talk about how they have helped cure them, whether it's been surgically or through medication or any sorts of ways. We think that it's very inspiring for others to learn these stories and to possibly help somebody else. So I encourage you to reach out if you are a doctor who is interested in being on the show and allowing us to highlight not only you, but the work that you've done for a child. You can reach out by emailing at info@hatchingforhealth.org. That's info@hatchingforhealth.org, and we look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back from the break. For those of you who just joined us, we have Chardell Buchanan on the phone, and she is a registered dietitian calling in all the way from New York. So we are back. I wanted to talk to you now. Your son was diagnosed with Phelan-McDermid syndrome, which is kind of what guided you to, touch on more of the dietetics for special needs. Tell us about this syndrome and the rarity of it, because it's something I've not heard of before.
Sure. Phelan-McDermid syndrome is a deletion on the 22nd chromosome, and it's missing the shank 3 portion of the gene. So this is like several different ways that it can be typed. You can have a mutation, you can have a duplication, a deletion, a translocation, or a ring. And Benjamin actually has a ring. So it's very rare. It's considered a rare disease. There are only 2,600 cases in the world.
Wow.
Diagnosed. So it's incredibly rare. There are not a lot of known things about it. We're still learning. Benjamin, with having a ring type, is even more rare. There's only about 125 cases of that in the world. So he's incredibly rare.
That is. So 2,600 of the Phelan-McDermid syndrome, but then of that, it goes down for the ring. You said ring like RING?
Yes, ring 22. So what happens with Benjamin's chromosome is he's missing material not only from the bottom arm of the chromosome, but also the top.
Wow.
And those ends, when the material is missing, the ends become a little bit sticky. And so they wrap around and they form, most chromosomes are shaped, kind of like my necklace. They have like an X,
okay.
Right? But Ben's is a ring. It looks like a straight line and then a circle.
Isn't that something? Wow. And that's just on what considered the 22nd chromosome that it does that with. Okay.
Yes, just one side of that chromosome.
Okay. And is there any physical features that they tend to have that, would, I guess, kind of resonate with someone that knew of the syndrome?
Yeah, I will say the most common presenting symptoms are hypotonia, which just means low muscle tone, but it's low muscle tone in the entire body. So when Benjamin was a baby, he was very floppy. It was difficult for him to sit up. It was difficult for him to hold his body upright. And then the second most common thing is delayed development, but that's on a global level. So motor skills are delayed, speech can be absent or very delayed. Another thing that happens is about 75% of the cases of Phelan-McDermid syndrome also have autism spectrum disorder, which Ben has that. It's a double diagnosis. And then epilepsy, which Ben also has. About 40% of the Phelan-McDermid syndrome cases have epilepsy on top of it. And then there are some other maybe less well-known characteristics, which would be sleep disturbances. Benjamin also has that. And the majority of the cases of Phelan-McDermid syndrome have a very high pain tolerance, which makes it difficult to keep them safe, and an inability to sweat properly, which also makes it difficult to keep them safe.
The last one you said, inability to what properly? To
sweat.
Really? That is
so if we're out in a hot environment where it's very humid and Benjamin cannot sweat, he will overheat and then he has seizures. So it's very difficult. We have to make sure that we keep him cool so that doesn't happen.
Of course. So there's got to be, with this such a rare condition, I guess your shirt, we talked a little bit before we started the show. So this is actually an organization started to simply raise funds for, I guess, the research and the help of children with this condition. Show us your shirt. It's kind of, so it's basically about Lucky. So cute.
Yes,
so you've
got
Lucky. The first part of the syndrome, Phelan, and then Lucky. So, we do film the show with a week delay, but today happens to be St. Patrick's Day. So I was telling her, good energy coming to you guys because it all connects there. So tell us about that organization. It's someone that you personally know, and they have these shirts now that have been sold or given to people all around the world. Is that right?
Yes, so the Phelan-McDermid Syndrome Foundation exists. It's been in existence for a while now, and there is a mom, another PMS mom, her name is Jen Randolph, who decided she wanted to help raise some funds for the foundation to fund research and treatments. And so she designed a shirt. And the first year they sold it to, I want to say it was like 30 people. Jen can correct me later on if she sees this.
Yeah.
Anyway, the goal was to get it out to as many people as possible to raise awareness for Phelan-McDermid syndrome. And in the process, do a fundraiser to give back to the foundation. So this is our 8th year, her 8th year doing it. And they raised close to $100,000 this year in order that to help research. And all the profits go straight back to the foundation. Now, me personally, I've been involved because I do a yoga challenge. I've done one for the last 3 years where through Instagram, I do a yoga challenge, and every day I challenge people to do a yoga pose, and I talk specifically about Phelan-McDermid and how it affects Benjamin and why he's so unique and such a blessing in my life. And it's been pretty fun to be able to direct people over to the campaign where the t-shirts and other promotional items are being sold for a donation that all goes back to the foundation.
That's great. I love that. And the yoga was just something that you were tying into, to basically say, hey, let's, do this pose, and then you kind of then talk about the foundation and guide them that way. Is that?
Yeah, well, I can tell you a quick story. When Ben was young, he was about 4 years old, we were seeing an outpatient physical therapist. And at the time, Ben had very tight hips. He was relying on his joints locking to keep himself upright because of the low muscle tone, right? Well, the therapist looked at me and he said, "You're not strong enough. You're not going to be able to take care of Ben." And I kind of thought it was a little bit brazen of him. Took me back a bit. It's like, oh, ha.
Yeah.
He said, "No, I'm serious. He's going to get bigger, and you're not strong enough to take care of him. You need to start working out and lift weights so you can care for him." Wow. So fast forward to a couple of years later, we're standing out here at the bus stop every morning, and Ben has to lean on me because his low muscle tone makes it very difficult for him to stand still for long periods of time. So every morning he's leaning on me and my back starts aching. And those words from that therapist came back to me, and I thought, he's right. I'm not taking care of myself. And if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of Ben. Yeah. So I started the yoga journey trying to gain upper body strength, which has been incredibly helpful. I can now help Ben and lift him in any way that he needs, and it doesn't hurt my physical body. So that's where the yoga ties in.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. The importance of it all, right? That's probably that moment for you was like, okay, listening to that gentleman doctor at that point, that just became a reality for you, and you made the changes. So yeah, yoga is such a great tool for really, upper body strength and the flexibility that it entails. So Ben, does he do some of the yoga with you? Is that what you're saying? Is he able to do, just any of the...
Ben likes to run.
Okay.
But we do incorporate yogi stretches for him as far as his hips and his ankles, because he has a specific, I think it's specific to him. I don't know if all of the PMS kids have this, but his femur bones actually rotate inward. And so he spends a lot of time tripping over his own feet with his legs turning. And so I try to correct that by doing a lot of external rotation, which yogi stretches help with that a lot.
Of course. And how old is Ben?
He's 11 now.
Wow. So he's a pretty big boy. So what grade does that put him in at 11?
He's in 6th grade.
Okay. And is he...
Yeah, and he's...
Okay. So at school, is he able to be in the classroom with like everyone, or is he a part of, a smaller group?
So luckily here in New York, we have a special school. It's called BOCES, and he's able to go there, and it's all kids who have special needs, which is wonderful. He's in a very small class. There's only 6 kids in his whole class, so he gets a lot of attention.
Wow. Yeah.
He has teachers. They have therapists in the school that he gets to see, every day. He sees a speech therapist. Plus they do all of his PT and OT in school. It's been a huge blessing for us to be able to get those services from there. And I feel safe because it's a school that I know is well equipped to handle all of Ben's needs. That's incredible.
Is this something that is covered with like insurance, or is it an out-of-pocket cost to a parent?
No, we pay for it through our taxes. It's a public school.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
You said it's called BOCES, or what's the name of it?
BOCES. BOCES. It's the Community Education Services, I believe, is the long name for it.
Okay.
But it's the whole county. Anyone who has special needs in the whole county, your child can come there and receive all the services they need. And they just do a tremendous job taking great care of Benjamin.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So tell me, when he was first diagnosed, at the age that, like, what age was that? I mean, because it sounds like a lot of these things you're mentioning are, are learned as, as they graduate to older years, aside from the, loss of strength and stuff, like you were saying, kind of, their bones are not built as strong as others. But what was it, or when was he diagnosed?
So Benjamin, when he was first born, everything seemed normal.
Okay.
But as time went on, I noticed he wasn't hitting milestones, and like I said, he was very floppy.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us a long time to get to the point where we actually sought out a genetic diagnosis. And I'll tell you why. We had a physician who was seeing him as a baby who just kept telling me he was a late bloomer. And, I'm not trying to bad talk that physician. I think that's what he thought. This is a very rare condition. I don't think that he knew what was going on. And Benjamin actually got sick and had to be hospitalized, and I was very upset.
Wow. I
was very upset.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm getting a new doctor. So we went to a doctor who said, can Ben hear? And I said, sure. And the doctor said, I don't think he can. So we did some testing, found out Ben couldn't hear. He had some inner ear issues that prevented him from hearing. So we got that corrected, and we thought that was the cause of him not meeting the milestones. I will tell you, the first time that he heard the neighbor's dog bark and he turned his head to look at it, I burst into tears because I thought, all this time he hasn't heard a thing.
Yeah.
I just felt terrible as a parent, and I really wanted to make it better. So we went to this new doctor. We got his ears fixed so he could hear, and he just still wasn't hitting milestones. And that's when the doctor recommended we do genetic testing. So he was actually 2.5 when we got the diagnosis. My husband reminded me it was 9 years ago yesterday that we got the diagnosis.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah.
So he was 2.5 years old. So it took a little bit. And so it is specifically the genetic testing that you have to go through to identify and really diagnose this properly.
That's right. And it is a blood test, and it can be very expensive, which was part of our hesitation. We had insurance that covered it, but it's a very expensive test. There's 2 ways you can do it. There's a microarray, and then there's a whole exome sequencing. We did the microarray with Benjamin, but when it came back, they suspected that he had a ring. So once you've done one of those 2 tests, you also, there are other tests that can ask as well to determine what kind of deletion it is. So we did the karyotype with Benjamin, which is that picture of the chromosomes that showed us it was a circle and a line.
I see. Okay. Wow. So that's, 2.5 years, into your little boy, that's quite a while. But I mean, obviously it's better at that age than, even further along and not knowing, just how to properly address and take care of him. So, but the rarity of it still makes it difficult. I'm sure trying to research and, understand it has been, quite a challenge. So tell me, so this organization, so we do have to wrap up, but where can people, I guess, kind of learn more about the condition in general if they suspect their child or, a family member's child might have it? I guess, where would we direct them? Would it be that website?
Okay. Yes, the best place to go is pmsf.org. That is the foundation website. A lot of valuable information there. They can also reach out to me directly through my Instagram or my website. I'm happy to talk with people about this syndrome. I'm not the expert, but I do know quite a bit.
You do, so I'm sure, yeah. So visit that website. We'll also put it below for people to, to click on. And also, if you guys, would like to talk with her about, your nutrition and the dieting for your children or yourself, I highly recommend reach out to Chardell Buchanan. And your Instagram, what is your Instagram?
Stronger_for_Ben.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and I loved, learning about your career and how you're helping. It's definitely a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity. It's been wonderful talking with you.
Of course. And thank you all for tuning in to tonight's episode of Hatching for Health and learning about this wonderful registered dietitian and all that she is doing in the community all around the United States, really. And we will be right back here next Tuesday at 7:30.